What's up? It's Robert from Existence First, mental training for a modern world. And in today's video, I'll be talking about the Unleash the Power Within seminar that I attended here in San Jose in 2016. I've got over 10 years of work experience in the field of psychology. And in today's video, I'll talk about the 5 things you need to know before going to this seminar if you want to get the most out of it. And what got me thinking about Tony Robbins today? Well, it's one of these quarantine days here in December 2020, and I was sitting in my living room just kind of being lethargic and wondering, why don't I have more energy? And then I realized, you know what, why don't I just go take a shower, change my clothes, and see how I feel. And I actually feel great after doing that. Now, that may seem like something very superficial, like, oh yeah, of course, you just go take a shower, like where's the magic in that? But that to me is an example of state control, which is one of the things taught in Tony Robbins' seminar, one of the things that I didn't actually understand very well until many years after the seminar. Number 1, and this is the thing that actually caused me to go ask for a refund, so pay close attention. Number 1, Tony Robbins is on stage only half of the time. Only half of the time. And is that necessarily bad? I don't know. Just go into it with the expectation. I showed up on day 2. Well, by the way, day 1, he just killed it. Tony totally just killed it on day 1. So it's day 2. I'm excited. I'm stoked. I'm ready to see Tony again. I walk in, sit down, and then on the loudspeaker, they announced that it's Tony's day off because he has to rest his voice box. And I was like, are you serious? And I guess I understand, because Tony is a powerhouse and he talks for like literally 14 hours straight on the days that he is on. And I guess the doctors advised him like that he's going to lose his voice if he doesn't do this every other day schedule. But I didn't know about that going in. So I was like, okay, well, let's see who comes on stage. I'm sure I'll learn something. On walks this dude named Joseph McClendon. And you can Google Joseph McClendon. I'm sure there's videos of him out there. And I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if in 2016 he was just brand new to the scene and still kind of learning. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a bad guy, but this dude was just like an amateur version of Chris Rock. He literally just made jokes most of the time. And I was like, I did not spend this money to come to some comedy festival, right, given by this amateur Chris Rock dude. So I was pissed. I went straight to the customer service desk and I said I would like a refund. And they said, I'm sorry, you're not satisfied, but you can't ask for a refund on day 2. You can only do the refund on day 1. So I was like, well, I guess it's gonna be me and Chris Rock then. So I went back in and sat down, and so that was the rest of day 2. Number 2, before spending $1,000 or more on a ticket to go to Unleash the Power Within, go to other seminars first. I made the mistake of making this kind of one of my first big seminars in self-help, and that's like going to the Super Bowl as your first football game. Like, you gotta kind of take smaller steps on your way up. Case in point, Tony did this exercise that was some sort of emotional clearing process where they dimmed the lights and they had everybody think of their biggest regrets and their biggest failures in life and their biggest goals that they haven't yet achieved, that they're being lazy about. And then all at the same time, everybody let out this like painful cry. And I was just like, I couldn't even do the exercise, because I was looking to my left and right. I was like, is this seriously going on? Like, is everybody just crying right now because they haven't achieved their goals? And not to mention just the eeriness of being in a stadium of 10,000 people who are crying at the same time. That's some energy right there. So know that stuff. Try to desensitize yourself as much as you can before going to those seminars, even though I don't think anybody else in the business does that exercise. So I don't know how you would desensitize yourself, but just know that going in, right? Because I was so distracted that I couldn't even like do the exercises. Number 3, looking back, I think I would have gotten more out of the seminar if I had studied NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, beforehand. NLP is a technique, it's sort of I don't know if it's a sub-branch of psychology, maybe pop psychology, but Tony Robbins is very heavy on NLP, and a lot of the techniques he uses are rooted in NLP. Example, you might think of a negative memory, and then Tony will ask you to, in your mind, change that memory from in color to black and white. That's an example of NLP. And by doing that, it's supposed to lessen the emotional connection to that memory. So all sorts of little tricks like that. But had I known that ahead of time, like the concept of anchoring, I would have understood so many more things that were going on throughout the seminar. Instead, all of it just kind of went over my head, and that was not ideal. Number 4, even though Tony is really good at psychology, Tony can get results. You can't deny that. I don't think the greatest value lies in the content he gives in the seminars. I think the bulk of the value is in watching him deliver the way he can deliver. I mean, this dude is a powerhouse. I mean, talking about 14 hours on stage, continuous, no bathroom break, high intensity. I mean, no one else can do that. Like, you have to see a model like that to know what's possible. All right, so that's one thing. The other piece of large value in these seminars is the networking. And unfortunately, in 2016, I was still working on my social skills. I wasn't used to networking at these self-help events. And so I feel like that was a lost opportunity for me. So do as much as you can to up your social skills, your networking skills. If you need help with that, send me a message for coaching. And do that before you go to a big seminar, especially one with 10,000 people. That's a lot of value. That's a lot of really like motivated people that you could potentially meet. Number 5, understand the whole point about state control. This was the idea that launched this video today because I took a shower and it changed my emotional state. I felt really good all of a sudden. What Tony does in these big seminars, in order to get people to sit for 14 hours straight listening to psychology lectures essentially and self-help motivational stuff, is you get up and stand and dance every 10 minutes. Like literally there's music playing, and it was very confusing. I was like, am I at a concert or am I at a self-help seminar? Because literally it's a stadium of 10,000 people jumping up and down, you know, saying yes, 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 and all this stuff. And that seems on the surface very hokey. That's why people think of it as a scam. And imagine me showing up at this seminar, like one of my first self-help seminars, and I'm looking around at everybody dancing and I'm like, this is not kind of what I expected. And I misunderstood it. I thought like, oh, this is marketing gimmicks, filler time, and this is just a waste of my money. And I missed the whole point. The whole point and the reason that connects to the firewalk is that you're able to walk over hot coals because you're able to trigger these optimal peak states. And you do that physiologically by anchoring these things, you know, yes, yes, and whatever. And it's very, very cool. I just didn't see it when I went through it the first time. So all this jumping up and down and this rah, 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 whatever, it seems like silly entertainment, but it's actually about state control. It teaches this very, very, very important point about psychology, that your physiology matters more than you think. I think that most people, we reverse it. We think that our physiology commands us. We're like, you know, oh, I would go to the gym, but I'm just tired today, or, you know, and we think that we need to take our lead from physiology. It's the other way around. We can actually lead our physiology. And that, my friends, is a huge change in paradigm. And that's, I mean, that lesson alone is probably worth the money. So those are the 5 things you need to know before you go to a Tony Robbins seminar. If this video is helpful, please click like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And who knows, maybe I'll run into you one day at a self-help seminar. Think deeply and put your existence first.